This is Nitin Dahad with the E-Times, and I'm here with Francisco Almada Lobo, who's the CEO of Critical Manufacturing. Francisco, hello.
Hello,
How
nice
are
to
you?
be here with you. Yeah, I'm great. We're very pleased to be here. Look around, a beautiful place, a place where we are actually merging tradition and IT in the same place.
I know, and I think this is my second time here at the conference. You held one in 2023, and it seems like since 2023 things have moved on quite a lot. And it was just early days in the era of ChatGPT, but now in your keynote you talked about AI agents and how solid your whole MES infrastructure needs to be to enable all of that. And I think that came through with, for example, Thomas Kaufman from Infineon talking about that as well in terms of enabling innovation in semiconductor manufacturing. What are your key points, takeaways from the whole conference?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's start with the overall conference, right? So we put a lot of ambition on this. So unlike in previous years, we have many parallel sessions going on, some more dedicated to technology, some more to business strategy. And so it's really great to see how people are, embracing all of these topics and coming together into the beautiful city of Porto. So that's the first thing about the conference. There's a kind of a main topic that goes across the entire set of conversations, which is AI.
Yes.
And so, we started with starting around 2010, as I was able to discuss, with machine learning. And while many of the companies were still trying to understand what was going to happen in terms of machine learning, we have a new revolution all of a sudden caused by the LLMs, by the ChatGPTs of the world. And while we're still trying to figure out also how to bring value into the business from this, comes the next wave, which is the agentic AI.
Yes.
Okay? And so, I think one of the things that we're seeing such a tremendous acceleration of technology. And we need to understand really how to create value for the manufacturing space. How to cope with all of those challenges, with all of those technologies, with all of those risks that we also have when applying such technology. So that's the overall theme that everyone is talking about. And then, of course, you have different angles to tackle it, right? From an MES standpoint, what we say is that an MES and also the connectivity to equipment provides a lot of data. And what we need to make people understand is that it's the core element, it's the data structure, is the data quality, is the data cleanness that actually provides value across all of these waves.
Not just the cleanness, the semantics and how you sort of structure it, I guess.
Yeah, how you structure the data, how you make the data, in a structure for purpose.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. Because yes, it's very powerful once we start putting LLMs talking to these data sets.
Yes.
Once you start putting agents reasoning on top of this, the amount of value that you can create is really amazing.
One of the key messages I got, and I mean, people talk about hallucinations, the LLMs, but two things. I think I was speaking to a lot of people, for example, in automotive, and I think that sort of came from Thomas as well, is there is such a lot of quality documentation, and the LLMs can enable you to sort of get answers pretty much immediately. I think somebody said an 80% of technicians' time goes in solving problems. And I guess that's where the LLM helps. But then also the other message I got is you still need humans in the loop. And the thing is this shortage of skills. So what happens is the AI and the LLMs are basically helping you to achieve what you need in terms of adding people. But actually, the humans still need to make those decisions. Is that right?
Yeah, it is completely right. So first of all, the summarization of huge amounts of information is where the LLMs excel.
Yes.
Right, and this could be analyzing data sets. This could be analyzing documentation. This could be summarizing and just making the most important steps. Now, of course, hallucination is a problem that everyone deals with when talking about LLMs, but there's a huge amount of technologies, huge amount of processes that we are putting in place to avoid such things from happening. So that is also extremely important. But at the end, we need to make sure that we understand how much power these kind of solutions bring to the table. And the humans in the loop are a necessity in many different ways. One of them that has to do with the responsibility and the accountability for the decisions. So this means that we're not getting rid of people in the shop floor or people in key areas. We're just giving them more tools, better tools, more power, but then ultimately the decisions will be theirs. That's, I think, the step that we are in. So we're not talking about things in which AI agents will going to, replace everyone, across all of these jobs.
Yes.
We're talking about empowering them more with better and more sophisticated tools, or much more sophisticated tools than before.
Right, and one of the things I think we've been covering quite a lot is the whole sort of robotics and physical AI, and I think that's quite an important element of manufacturing, and I guess, critical manufacturing. But I guess there's an important role you play in that whole physical AI space as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a kind of a continuum, right, between the software space and the hardware space.
Correct.
So I think it's, it's becoming harder and harder to distinguish, differentiate, or to create boundaries in between.
Yeah.
So many of the things that we do, although we come from mainly from a little bit more top-level software space, from the IT space, it goes down to the OT space.
Yes.
So many of the things that we do, we start blending information that comes from the really, deep details of the manufacturing space, of the sensor level data, and all of this information in order to create value with a combination of all of these things. One of the things that is more important in our area today is called contextualization.
Yes.
Right, which is information that you may get from lower level sensor type of information, from the manufacturing, from the details of manufacturing, and then providing it or enriching it with additional contextual information so that real insights can be generated. So I think it's a continuum, and as we saw today from some of the keynotes, especially from the one from Dr. Thomas Kaufman, was that this is really necessary. This continuum of information is absolutely necessary, and will provide hopefully quantum leaps in terms of productivity, quality, and ultimately results for the end customers.
Now, this is your conference, but I guess it's unfair for me to ask you what's been your highlight or your favorite moment. I mean, it doesn't have to be the presentations, it could be anything. What do you feel like you've achieved, or you're really pleased with? Or
Well, there's something that we try to do with this conference, which is making it much bigger than just a critical manufacturing conference.
Yes.
Right, and I think you can see this from the amount of partners that we have, system integrators, startups, C-level executives, discussions around both business strategy and at the same time very detailed and advanced technical topics. So I think it's the notion of ecosystem. I think it's what pleases us the most, and I think this was really achieved. And as we are here, the only thing I'm thinking about is how can we continue this, right? How can we make this an event which is even more inclusive, that brings more people together? Because ultimately these challenges are not challenges that anyone can cope with alone.
That's true. And on that note, what do you see in the next 12 to 24 months? Because everything's moving so fast now.
My crystal ball is more or less broken for now, and especially as I was able to say during my keynote, as I was preparing my presentation in a very technical topic, I had to change my presentation over and over again, just because so many new things were coming up, right? So, but there's one thing I think it's unavoidable, which is, at least now in the software space, we're going to see much more AI elements being added over time, right? So we have changed our roadmaps in the past months a number of times, because the evolution of technology is so great that we're going to see more and more of these things coming up at a very high pace. So that's, I think, the main challenge. While at the same time, we cope with all the turmoil of the supply chains, of the tariffs and everything. But also building these things helps to bring resilience also for our customers. And so this is something that we'll continue to pursue.
I think one of the, just to close that point, the data is going to be important even for sort of dealing with all those geopolitical things, including sort of getting more utilization of equipment and sort of making sure that you get optimum use of it. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I cannot stress that enough. Data is the core element of all of this. And so, but we need not just data. It's of course more data in terms of volume. It's more data in terms of diversification of sources.
Yeah.
It's data which is structured and unstructured data. We're talking about data from equipment, data from images, human-related data, and so on. But it's also what type of strategy do we need to have? And again, I cannot stress that enough. What type of strategy can we have to allow this data become the foundation for all of these additional things that you want to do with it? So AI without this clear strategy is, as I was able to mention, garbage in, garbage out.
Correct. Well, good.
Right? And so that's the main point I'd like to emphasize.
Well, we had some interesting, also provocative talks as well, which I probably will write about. But thank you for your time, Francisco.
It was really a pleasure. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you enjoy being here one more time with us.
Thank you.